Every family has things they return to. Sometimes they're places, sometimes they're routines, sometimes they're the smallest moments that quietly become part of everyday life without us even noticing. For us, those familiar things are what help our days begin. Before we even step outside the door, our morning has already started long before anyone even sees it. There are little jobs that happen almost without thinking. Opening the curtains, making the bed, checking the weather, packing a bag, filling drinks, brushing hair, making sure everyone has what they need. None of these things are particularly exciting. They're not the moments that usually make it into photographs or memories, but they matter because they're the little pieces that help the bigger moments happen. I've realised over the years that every member of our family has something they naturally return to. For me, it might be a quiet drink before the house becomes busy, a few peaceful minutes with my Nintendo Switch, a cuddle from Callie before the day properly begins. Tiny comforts that help me pause, even if only for a moment. For William, it's the routines he's learnt to trust, the familiar rhythm of getting ready, the sensory spaces that help him regulate, the places where he already knows what to expect. For Felicity, it's something completely different. It's knowing she'll still have moments where she's seen, listened to, and feels included, even if those moments sometimes have to be found amongst everything else our family life brings. And for Stephen and me, I think we've both learnt to return to something that's much harder to describe: teamwork. Not the kind that's planned, not the kind where we stop and discuss who's doing what, just a quiet understanding that's grown over the years of parenting together. Sometimes one of us naturally steps towards William while the other helps Felicity. Sometimes we swap without even thinking. Sometimes we simply notice the other person needs a moment and quietly step in. It's become part of our rhythm. I don't think we even notice we're doing it anymore. Getting ready to leave the house probably looks ordinary from the outside. Children getting dressed, hair being brushed, shoes waiting by the front door, a backpack ready to go. But behind these ordinary moments is something much bigger. Every little routine has been learnt through experience. Every familiar object has earned its place because at some point it made life just a little bit easier. And over time, those familiar things quietly become part of who we are as a family. I don't think many people realise how much preparation can go into something as simple as going to the local park. Not because it's difficult every single time, but because preparing well often makes the outing feel easier for everyone. The more familiar something becomes, the more confidence it gives us. And perhaps that's why we find ourselves returning to the same routines, the same objects, the same places. Not because they're the most exciting, but because they're the ones that help us enjoy the ordinary moments together. Sometimes the simplest days out ask for the most preparation, because they're often the days that become our favourites. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about family life is that getting out the house is the easy part. For us, leaving the house often begins long before we even open the front door. There's always little things to think about: drinks to fill, bags to check, clothes to arrange, weather to think about, snacks to pack, and making sure we've remembered the things that helps everyone else feel comfortable. Some of those routines have become so familiar that we barely think about them anymore. We've repeated them hundreds, maybe even thousands of times. They quietly become part of who we are as a family. People sometimes ask how we manage days out with two children whose needs are so different. And the honest answer is that we've learned to stop chasing perfection. We don't expect every outing to go to plan. We don't expect every photo to be perfect. We don't expect every moment to be calm. Instead, we've learned to work with the day we have. One of the things I've realised over the years is that teamwork doesn't always look the way people imagine. It isn't always big conversations or carefully organised plans. Sometimes it's simply looking at each other and knowing what the other person needs without saying a word. Stephen naturally takes over with William while I help Felicity. Then without really thinking about it, we swap. Sometimes one of us walks ahead, sometimes one of us stays behind. Sometimes we're together only for a few minutes before naturally separating again. It becomes a rhythm we've built over the years, not because someone taught us how to do it, but because life slowly taught us what works for our family. I think that's something many families experience in different ways. You slowly stop comparing yourself to everybody else and you start building routines that fit your own home. Our routines probably look very different to another family's, and that's okay. Because these are the routines that allow our children to experience ordinary moments in a way that works for them. Something as simple as walking to the local park can hold so much more behind the scenes than people realise. By the time we stepped outside, we've already made dozens of little decisions. Most of them will never be noticed by anybody watching, but they all help the day unfold a little bit more smoothly. When I look back one day, I don't think I'll remember whether everything was perfectly organised. I'll remember the feeling, the excitement of finally stepping outside together, the warm sunshine on our faces, the conversations we had as we walked, the little hands reaching for ours. Those are the moments that stay with you. And maybe that's why I've stopped chasing perfect days, because perfect days don't really exist. Meaningful ones do. As we've learnt what works for our family, we've also learnt that familiar places can make all the difference. There are parks we've visited so many times that we know every path before we've even started walking inside. We know where William feels happiest, we know where Felicity likes to play, we know where we can stop for a snack if we need to, we know how long it takes to walk home if somebody has had enough. That familiarity doesn't make our world smaller. If anything, it helps make the world feel more accessible. Sometimes people assume that always returning to the same places must become repetitive, but I found the opposite to be true. Returning somewhere familiar means we can spend less time worrying about the unknown and more time enjoying the little moments that happen while we're there. You'll probably notice throughout this video that Stephen and I naturally separate quite often. One of us follows William, the other stays with Felicity, then before long we're back together again. It's something we've never really planned, it's simply the rhythm we found over the years. But although both our children are sharing the same childhood, they're experiencing it in completely different ways. William enjoys the world in his own way, Felicity enjoys it in hers, and our job is never to make those experiences identical. Our job is to make sure they both feel equally loved, equally supported, and equally free to enjoy the moment they're having. Sometimes that means we're all together, sometimes it means we're only together for a few minutes before naturally splitting off again. Neither way is better, it's simply one that works for us. One of the things I've learned through motherhood is that family life doesn't always have to look the same to still feel connected. Connection isn't measured by everyone standing in the same place. Sometimes it's knowing that everyone has what they need, even if those needs look completely different. As parents, I think we're all trying to give our children memories they'll carry with them one day. Not necessarily the biggest memories, not necessarily the most expensive memories, just the ordinary ones, walking to the local park, watching them climb a little higher than last time, sharing a snack on a bench, holding hands on the walk home. They are often the moments that quietly become the most meaningful. They're easy to overlook while you're living them, but they're the ones I hope we'll remember. And maybe that's why we'll keep returning to these places, not because they're perfect, but because they give us the chance to simply be together in whatever way our family needs that day. As we walk back through our front door, life doesn't suddenly become quieter. The backpack gets put down, shoes are kicked off, one child is already moving on to the next activity, while the other is telling us about her favourite part of the morning. Home quickly becomes busy again, and that's the funny thing about these ordinary days. While you're living them, they can feel repetitive. You might wonder if you're doing enough, if your children will remember them, if they're exciting enough. But when I stop and really think about it, I don't believe childhood is built on extraordinary moments alone. I think it's built on repetition. The bedtime stories read over and over again, the same walks, the same parks, the same comforting routines, the same familiar faces waiting beside you every single day. Those are the things that quietly become home. One day, these mornings will look different. The little backpack won't need packing anymore. The routines we spent years building will slowly change. The walks might become less frequent. The park that feels so familiar today might simply become somewhere we once used to go. That's one of the reasons I started filming our ordinary life. Not because every day is exciting, not because every outing is perfect, but because I know these little moments won't stay little forever. They deserve to be remembered too. I hope that when my children look back one day, they won't remember whether everything went perfectly. I hope they'll remember feeling safe, feeling loved, feeling like they belonged, because in the end, that's all any parent is really trying to give their children. A childhood that feels full of love. For us, the things we return to aren't just places. They're the routines we've built, the teamwork we've learned, the quiet moments we find in between the busy ones, the familiar comforts that help us keep showing up for one another every single day. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much for spending a little part of your day with our family. Your support really does mean more than you know. If you enjoy these quiet moments at home and our little adventures along the way, I'd love for you to subscribe and join us as we continue sharing our ordinary days together. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.